What's going on, boys? Here for one of the last episodes of Fight Numbers. Bittersweet. It's so funny that the last episode is going to be on Diego Lopez fight week, fighting for the title. Never thought I would see the day that Diego Lopez is potentially going to be holding the belt. Very, very universal. I'm looking forward to that card, but we got a decent little card on our hands this week, coming off of a good Mexico card. Trying to remember if I thought that card was really good. Ozzy and I were beating the drum super hard for McKee Costa, and he shipped it for us.
McKee Costa.
Oh, and Chad gave out McKee by decision plus 300. So
by decision.
Yeah.
Man, that just shows you kind of when you're handicapping fights how you could compound on it with something like a decision line. A lot of people like goes the distance too, but man, the line movement on that thing closed like plus 200.
I was gonna say he was like plus 210 by the time the
I added.
Yeah, man,
that's great.
I hope a lot of people were able to get that at plus 140. I thought it was a great play. At plus 200, it's like a no-brainer, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I capped him like minus 125, something like that, like a very small favorite. It's funny because I had heard that there was going to be money coming in on C-Rod all week. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait. I'm going to chill. Going to see where this line goes. It seemed like a lot of people like C-Rod too. So I was like, all right, so I'm waiting for the C-Rod money to come in. The line is stable. Melky's like plus 130 to plus 140 pretty much the whole week. So it's finally fucking play him now. And then I play him at 140. And literally like an hour later, just C-Rod money just comes pouring in. And I'm like, how did I mistime it so bad? Usually I'm pretty good.
I thought I was smart when I got plus 165. I was like, man, I'm a genius. This is great.
Yeah, right. And then it went to
action.
plus 200, dude. That was crazy. But yeah, Gautier KO1 plus 280. That was awesome, man. That one felt really good. Getting plus 280 on the round one KO was huge. The under itself was plus money, so I played the under at plus money, and I played the KO.
Yeah, plus 135 for under 1.5, man.
Yeah,
Chad had a great prop week, man. I know Chad had a good week.
Also had Emmer's KO. We're talking about free.
Yes.
Free. That was plus 125 when I bet it. Crazy.
Yeah, the Gautier one, man. I haven't been like super convicted like that in a long time. I'm like, this is literally just the layup of all layups. And I thought it was so funny because when Medina, like once he felt the power, you can tell like he was scared, but he was trying to play it off like he wasn't. Like he's like waving him on, but he's like shaking as he's doing it. He's like going. I'm like, this dude is.
No,
man.
I was at the casino watching it, and I was like, fuck, this dude's not gonna die, is he? I was like, he's gonna fucking somehow outlive it, and like. Some guy came up to me, and I hate when this happens, but when you're at the casino and like a dude comes up to you and he asks what you're playing, and I start talking about my bets a little bit, and then he like won't leave me alone like the whole fucking night. Like, what do you think about this fight? What do you think about this fight? And like, I'm trying to sweat my bets. I'm potentially betting like $20 parlays. Fucking, I tell him to bet Godinez and fucking McKee Costa because he won't leave me alone, and he parlays it. And little did I know he parlayed Lazy Boy with him too, so he'd even win any money. I thought Borjas was really sharp. Obviously, he 30-27'd him. I ended up on the over on that fight and the over on the Morales fight. Both of them were reasonable priced, flyweight and bantamweight fights. Not even really that close to a finish in either fight. And then my lone blemish on the card. I laid the juice on Martinez. That was free. Minus 385. He closed 700. I played Urseg fight day because I was talking mad shit about Moreno. And I didn't think that was a good bet. It was, like you said, the GTD was free on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's jump into this week's card. What do we got? We got Lerone Murphy taking on Josh Emmett. It's one of those fights where they're given a step up in competition. An aging out fighter who's getting super undervalued in the market. We see this a lot lately in today's MMA market where like a 38 to 41-year-old is a huge underdog and no one wants to bet him because, it's clear that there's like a trend where older fighters are getting recycled and, it's negative EV to be betting on these. We saw it with Vince Pichel this week or last week. And they just but although Blachowicz looked good at 42 against Olberg. Why don't we jump right into it? Anyone
Yeah, we got a Santos Grant request here. I'll be honest, I'm tempted to play Santos. I've just never been a Davy Grant guy. I know Santos is like kind of a high variance fighter because of his style, but I don't know, man. I know Davy Grant, obviously it burned me to bet against him in a big way again with Ramon Tavares. But I feel like I just don't trust Davy Grant whatsoever. I still don't think he's a good round winner. I still don't trust his durability. He's pushing 40 years old as well, so the potential decline is there. And I also think something that wasn't in the range for Ramon Tavares is top time, and I think Santos could absolutely land multiple takedowns here. So yeah, I kind of lean Santos, especially now that the line has come in. But curious to hear if you guys like the bet in Davy Grant.
Is my audio cutting out, guys?
You were cutting out a little bit, so I think it, like we were saying before, we weren't sure if it was you or me. It might be.
Yeah, it's probably me. All right, Chad, what do you think about this one?
I took some Santos minus 135, I think.
Okay, so we're in the same train of thought there, right, Chad?
Yeah, I think like you said, it's not impossible that he gets some top time. I think he cooks him down the stretch. Front footing him, there might be a little bit of sweat early, but I think he paces him. I just favor what he brings at this point. And I'm not a big Davy Grant guy. He's kind of a ass pole sort of guy. Santos is a kind of a dummy, but still, Davy Grant is not it for me. He's old. He's I think he's gonna get cooked late. So maybe sweaty moments. Maybe we'll take a look. I'll see if I'm gonna play like a late finish, but for now it's just the money line.
I'm more or less with you guys, especially now at the price coming in. Santos, when he got those wins and those recent wins, people were thinking that he was, a new maybe top, 15 or 20 to 25, feather or bantamweight, maybe like that division's Leo version of the other Santos. I forget his name, Leo Santos, or I forget his name. Anyway, I'll go with Santos minus 145, and anything under minus 150. I think decent price to fade an older guy who probably doesn't have as much finishing upside as he used to.
Chad, I got to give you your credit, bro. You're getting good at timing the market and getting the best price available. Minus 135 on Santos is solid. It looks like best available is minus 140 right now. But I will say it seems like Davy Grant is kind of a popular underdog, so I'm going to be monitoring the line. I think there's a chance that it comes in even more. So I agree with you guys. I like the Santos side as well. I kind of like Santos and overs GTD. They're both super durable. I know some people might think it's likely there's a finish because it's going to be a crazy fight, but they're so well-rounded and durable. I would be pretty surprised if there was a finish in this fight. So I like Santos and GTD as the sides for me, and it's all number dependent. I probably need like minus 130 to get involved with Santos.
Yeah, one fight where I wouldn't be surprised at a finish is the people's main event, as Dixon called it here, Barbosa and Belbita. And I know this was a drop the hammer play for Pepe, if you will, on Dion Barbosa. So kick us off here.
Yeah, I mean, this one's pretty straightforward. I played Barbosa at minus 450 to win 1 unit, so I had to fork up some change, but I thought the juice was worth it. I thought it was a pretty safe spot. I've been pretty impressed with Barbosa, her skill set, how it's translating in the UFC. She was pretty competitive with Maverick. Her striking has gotten a lot better from the regional scene, and there's just a massive grappling advantage. Belbita is someone that I want to target to bet against. All of her UFC wins are fighters no longer in their promotion, not real fighters. We know at least Barbosa is a real fighter, judo background, jiu-jitsu, overall decent skill set. And Belbita coming up to 125, I don't like that for her. She was never even physical at 115. So I think it's going to be easy work for Barbosa, early sub or dominant decision.
Anyone have anything to add? I think Barbosa subs her.
Yeah, I think this might be like a similar spot. Not as bullish as last week, the KO one, but I think this might be a similar spot with the sub one here. Line is in the same range as that was. I think it's plus 260 or something. Belbita is going to retire after this. So, she gets her in a bad position, goes for the armbar. I don't think she's going to, grin and bear her way out of it. I think she'll be tapping quick. So if that does happen, I can just see that early sub, put the gloves down, call it a day on your career, start doing, regional commentary for BFC or BFL, one of these fucking fight leagues. Yeah, I think that might be worth a play. I didn't play it yet, but that's sort of how I see this going. I'm sure that the people that like to play the exact method of victory props for the submissions, her sub is like even money. I feel like armbar is going to be like plus 150. So we'll see what MGM throws up there.
Make sure you get your $25 bets in at MGM on the exact method there.
No, I can get 500 down.
No way. You would need like an ultra VIP account.
I'm an ultra VIP.
GM3 Tavares. Dixon wants to know, is Tavares by decision a hammer spot?
Ew.
Takers?
Sorry, just grabbing a beer, but I would take that.
I've never been a Tavares guy. Like, I'm never really interested in back at his skill set. And GM3, he's changed his training environment has changed a little bit. He's been going to Killcliff. He's been working in Bilal's camp as the jiu-jitsu guy there. And Brad Tavares, he's just always gonna be there. And in stretches of that Weidman fight, he did not look good. It's not like that was a clean performance. GM3's a southpaw, tricky chokes, improved wrestling. Is he the best at any of those things? No. But Brad Tavares, sometimes he'll even be on the back foot. So I think it could be competitive or should be competitive.
I haven't really paid much attention to this fight because I just it's one of these fights I don't care about whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But dude, I just looked and GTD is only minus 150 in certain spots, minus 155.
Who is Brad Tavares finishing, bro?
For real, dude.
He
has one finish in the UFC.
If this goes to the ground,
if there's any finish, it's Mearshart sub. Yeah, that's the only way this finish.
Brad Tavares does not have one shot power, and if Mearshart flops to the ground, Brad Tavares is not going to finish him. So
Has Tavares been subbed?
not really. No, I think.
Dude, he's never been subbed, but he's
Mhm.
fought mostly strikers, though. To be fair,
And he doesn't get taken down.
That's
you
the
know?
thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Usually his takedown defense is really good.
yeah, dude, I remember like the ACJ and Akhmedov fights. Like his takedown defense looks so damn good in those fights. I mean, he's a bit older now, and he did drop Park, and GM3 is super hittable. But I kind of like that GTD at minus 155.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Looks good to me.
What's next?
What do we got?
What do we got, chat? Garule, O'Day, Osborne. That's a play for you, Pepe, on the Garule side. And
Yeah,
I think
you
some
wanna
late stuff.
you wanna do this fight? Okay. All right. This is my I only have 2 money line plays so far. I might get to something else. Barbosa minus 450, and then I played Garule minus 205. And I like this kid. I think he's a solid prospect. I like the skill set that he possesses for this particular matchup because Ozzy, can you mute your mic?
Those potato chips, bro.
Yeah, some rapper. Yeah, I like Garule's skill set for this matchup because he's very durable. He's got good pace, good pressure, very well rounded. And so Odie Osborne, obviously, barely UFC level. One win in his last 5 fights, an aging flyweight. We have a big sample on this guy. We know he can't grapple, and we know he doesn't have cardio. We know he's not durable. We know he's fast and he can hit hard early. So, he has shown who he is as a fighter. Whereas I think Garule's developing. He's got a nice, well-rounded skill set. I think he's going to give Odie a ton of issues as his fight wears on. So I like the money line, and I also like the round 3 prop. Round 3, I played at plus 850. I think he's going to cook Odie as the fight wears on. And, he's training with Royval at elevation nonstop. Someone in Royval who's developed his skill set a ton. So I love that for him as a training partner. Super good looks for someone like Odie Osborne too, because Royval is a longer, rangier flyweight who's fast. So he's seen this kind of archetype before. He should be comfortable with it. So I mean, worst case scenario is he gets dropped. I don't think he gets like flatlined or anything or gets put out. So worst case scenario is he gets dropped in round 1 and then he fights back into it and cooks him over 2 and 3. But I don't think he's going to get finished in round 1. So I like Garule to cook him eventually. I played the round 3, and I really love the round 3 and round 3 submission. He was clear that he knows the agenda. He's a smart guy, very cerebral, studies. And there's a lot of film out on Odie Osborne to show his weaknesses and how to beat him. Garule, he's got solid grappling. He's got a submission upside. So I think he's going to cook him and get a round 3 sub. I'm on it big. So you should play it too.
Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's a good debut fight for him. Odie, although he lives in Vegas, my understanding is he's not really with a major team. He's kind of just filling the time right now. I think that Garule or however you pronounce his last name, I think he gets something done. I'm thinking that it won't be an early finish though. So I kind of like where you're at there, Pepe. But yeah, I think he's a solid favorite this week. I've never been an Odie guy though. I've always kind of faded him, but I think for a good reason, and I think it's still okay to do now.
Yeah, I think Garule is pretty safe myself. I think he was impressive on Contender Series to me against Piccinini, just being taken down 10 times, constantly working back to his feet, doing more damage. I think the biggest edge for him, like you said, he's very well-rounded, but Odie, like outside of the first round, really, he's got nothing. like literally nothing. And I think Garule down the stretch is really going to take over. The part where I kind of disagree, I kind of like this fight to finish. I think, you can get some slight plus money on the under 2.5. Ode, like his win condition to me is he would have to high roll an early finish, which I don't really see happening. But I think Garule can finish him as well, especially if he gets tired. So I know smaller guys, flyweight, you usually don't love to lean into some unders there, but I just think this is a much different matchup. Garule has shown he does have power. He does have finishing ability. We just didn't see it on Contenders because he was constantly defensively wrestling the whole time for the most part. So yeah, I kind of like the fight to finish, but I do think Garule, even in a parlay at minus 230, 250, whatever it's at, I think is fine.
I agree with you.
Not much to add. I like the late finish angle. Ode win condition to me is high rolling and early KO. So I agree, John. When you have these fights where one guy you think is like how he wins is an early KO, and then he kind of gasses and gets shitty down the stretch, and then the other guy is going to put it on him and try to finish him, and you're getting plus money. What was the price on it? It's
what,
or even
something?
No, just
you're talking about the under. Yeah. Under 2.5, you can actually get a little bit of plus right now because people were betting over.
Yeah, so that's tempting me because when you have like the front end finishing capability on one side and then the tail end and one guy that does tend to fall off a cliff, it does make that pretty appealing because I do think it's a 2-3 finish for Garule, most likely 3. Although it might be better to just lay some doesn't go at a little worse price because I could see it being in the latter half of round 3.
But it is. You are going to pay about 40 cents more, though, is the thing. Like at minus 130 best available. So take that for what you will.
Yeah, but for sure, I agree with Pepe on the round 3 prop. I played some of that as well, but I'm just trying to see if I'm going to double dip at all. But I think it's a late finish. Garule and Ode sucks, man.
Hey, we nailed the circle jerk plays last week. Let's keep it rolling. Garule circle jerk. We got it. Let's talk Demopoulos, Talita, Alencar. This is a matchup where like initially I wanted to bet Alencar because I just see the path so clearly for her. But then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why would I bet that when I know Demopoulos is going to get taken down? But if this goes to decision, like she's somehow going to weasel her way because the judges love her. So I'm like, I would just not. If I'm going to bet this fight, it's going to be some sort of Alencar submission angle. But outside of that, I'm probably just not going to get involved.
Crazy fight, boys. Not going to lie. These girls are meant to fight each other. Similar to, I think Pepe's going to tell you, he's been going back and forth. This is like, pick'em cannot be more appropriate when you take a look at both these girls. The only reason I personally lean a little bit towards Vanessa is just the experience advantage. Like, I'm just a little more confident in a round 3 if the rounds were toss-ups, which they may very well be, that she'll be able to effectively go get to offense in the third round. Talita, like her wrestling, sometimes she just kind of like reaching for singles, and it's not really. She's definitely a girl that's gonna take her a few takedown attempts before she gets you down. Even with Vanessa's bad takedown offense, I would be surprised if it's like a very few takedown attempts to a high conversion for Talita. So I just think Vanessa, she's more reliable to throw leg kicks and some of those small things that in like a female fight like this where they don't have a lot of power could be
the thing is those kicks can be caught and turned into takedowns because a lot of Talita's takedowns are on kicks too. Honestly, I was looking back and really wanted to see how she was getting these takedowns, and honestly, her entries are pretty good early. The biggest issue, and it's like, okay, Demopoulos has terrible takedown defense. Talita is a decent grappler, and she goes for takedowns, and it's pick'em. You know, we should be slamming Talita, right? The issue is fucking her cardio is ass. And, you know, there's a potential where she gets a takedown and Demopoulos rolls with it and scrambles back up. And I think if she gets a takedown and Demopoulos gets back up, she's probably cooked for that round. Like, she just doesn't have enough cardio. But honestly, I'm not interested in playing this fight. It's AIDS, as Orthodox 1993 would say.
Shout out our guy Quinn. Getting the shout out from Pepe
there.
Yeah, this is.
Go ahead, Chad.
I was just gonna say this is one where I flip flopped. I can see both sides. I can make a case for both, with a slight lean to Vanessa, but it's not one that I think I have to get involved in. And also, you have to always bear in mind with the Demopoulos fights that judges love her, and that, you know, you kind of have to beat her like 70-30 in a round if you want to get that round. And I don't know if Alencar can do that unless she's subbing her. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's best to stay away. So it's a volatile fight for me. So
yeah, like I said, I think Alencar sub is probably the angle if you play her, and then if you like the Vanessa side, just wait until she gets taken down in round one and the line balloons, and then just better then. Because like Chad said, she'll work her way back into the fight, and it'll be some sweaty scorecards down the stretch there. Let's talk my guy Torres Finney making his UFC debut off the Contender Series. He's fighting Robert Valentin. Valentin fought on the Ultimate Fighter. He got absolutely mollywopped on the mat by Ryan Loder. Grappling is no good whatsoever. However, the reason why I would not be parlaying my guy Torres Finney here is because Valentin, while the fight plays out on the feet, he does have power. So I want to respect that power. He's got nasty elbows. He's got a ton of knockouts. And we know Finney's striking is, to be honest, not very good. He's sloppy on the feet. Now his wrestling and his athleticism are an absolute cheat code. And I do think he gets the takedowns and finds a finish. But because of the concerns on the feet, this is one where I'll take the coward's way out and just lean into some violence. I think the under 2.5 is still in a playable range for me, or at least in parlay range for me. And yeah, I think this fight finishes. I think it's likely Finney, but it's going to come with some risk.
I'm not a Finney believer, dude. I'm just going to say it. I'm not a Finney believer. I think he's fought like just a complete garbage level of competition, and he's going to get exposed. Is it going to be in this fight? It could be. It could be. Listen, this Valentin guy was minus 180 to Ryan Loder in the Ultimate Fighter finale, and he injured his arm really bad and needed surgery after the fight. Almost had a rear naked choke on Ryan Loder, locked in round one. I think Loder's the side. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it. I think Valentin. I think Valentin is the side. I kind of like the. I think the numbers are ridiculous on this guy to win by KO, and by KO early. Finney is super hittable on the feet, dude. He is gonna get. I don't know. I see Valentin getting the finish. The numbers are really big on it. I could see some Travis Brown elbows, something like how William Knight finished Brundage on Contender Series, where he goes in for a takedown and he just starts hammering those elbows, and Finney shells up. No, and yeah, I think it's like 18-1 for a round one KO. Plus 850 on knockout. So that's probably how I'm gonna play the fight. I haven't played anything yet, but yeah, I'm not buying the Finney hype, honestly, dude. So,
Chad, how do you feel about it, bro?
Yeah, similar. Don't want to ruin a circle jerk with Pepe, but yeah, it's how I feel. I don't like Finney. I think he stinks. I'm just waiting on the line here. I'm trying to do my best to time the market, Pepe, as you know. I'm not sure that the Finney love is done with when all is said and done. Maybe we can pop a little bit of a better price, maybe 15, 20 cents. Yeah, so I'll definitely be on some money line on the loader side.
Valentin.
And sorry.
You keep saying loader.
Yeah, it's because loader got in my head.
Yeah,
I know it was my fault.
Get a loader of this guy.
Yeah, I don't really have thoughts. I don't really have thoughts on this fight, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Ozzy, give us a prediction.
I mean, I just think that I could definitely see the reason that you think that Valentin and Tai could land some short shots.
Yeah,
I just think Finney's gonna get dominant positions. Like, I'm pretty confident at some point that happens.
How's his control?
It's just the other guy sucks on the ground, dude. He's bad at grappling. He's kind of like he knows submissions, but positionally he's horrible. So I think that Finney is just gonna be able to beat him to a lot of positions.
The issue with Finney is, like, once he takes people down, he honestly, like, doesn't know what to do. Like, if you watch his Contender Series fights, like, he ragdolls people because he's so strong and explosive, and then, like, he takes them down, and it's kind of like, what do I do now? Like, he doesn't really land a ton of ground and pound, very low activity, and he doesn't know submissions. So, like, he needs those big shots. So, yeah, I like the under. I did not price shop the props, but that's a great call, Pepe. I think those numbers are absolutely wild.
Dude, this fight is so fucking weird. Like, first of all, Finney is a 5'6" middleweight, and Valentin has, like, obviously super sus takedown defense, but he's really opportunistic and he's a good finisher. So
yeah,
it's just a fucking really weird combination. Something weird is gonna happen in this fight. And that's why I think Valentin is going to catch him with, like, an elbow, a knee, something crazy is going to happen in this fight.
You talked about how hittable Finney is too. Like, he was wobbled on Contender Series.
Yo,
like, he's wide open,
dude. And Valentin, that elbow that he landed on Giannis Bakar. I know Bakar's a fucking bum. I already know he's a bum. But that elbow he landed was fucking clean, and it's gonna be We saw it with Manuel Torres against Drew Dober. He's going to be able to punch down on Finney. And so, yeah, I like his chances of getting an early knockout.
Those numbers are just wild.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm going to be on the under, and I'm definitely going to play those
KO1. Yeah.
KO1. Even the KO 9-1 on draft.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking crazy.
It's wild. And again, like, I'm a Finney guy. I don't think he's very good. I'm just a fan of him. I think he's entertaining on the mic and stuff, and his wrestling's great. But I mean, you gotta take the value where it's at. And also, before we move along, remember, before Valentin got exposed by Loader, like, people were calling him, like, the budget Yuri. Like, he has that same kind of aura. And, like, on The Ultimate Fighter, like, the little whatever, like, people were, like, all about this guy kind of, and then it's like, oh, he sucks now.
I liked him a lot because I remembered him from Aries, and fucking he, like, every fight he was in, someone would be covered in blood.
There's not a single fighter you don't like from Aries, bro.
Aries kind of does have my heart. I'm gonna be real. Would
you say Aries is your Valentine?
Yeah, I was one of the first people to really be betting Aries, to be honest.
That's right.
All right, let's move along. We got a lot of people asking for this replacement fight. I don't know if you guys looked into this LFA dude stepping in on short notice. I haven't taped him.
No, not yet.
I'm not gonna gonna say much. But Kennedy Zachukwu is out, obviously, if you didn't know, and then this Yuron Sadi Badayev, who I believe is the light heavyweight champ, or is it heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah, light heavyweight champ over in LFA. I haven't seen this guy fight at all, so I'm not really going to comment. I think Bidet kind of stinks, but yeah, I don't have any thoughts.
Same.
All right, let's talk Aussie's boy, Chong Ho Lee versus Cortavius Romeus. And I say Aussie's boy because he notoriously bet this dude when basically the entire Discord bet Zhao Long, and he ended up weaseling his split decision win, which was very questionable. But you gotta tip your cap to him. Do you think your boy goes back here and gets it done against Cortavius Romeus?
Holy's back. Okay, Holy is back, and they got Holy, the pride, the best Korea has to offer against the guy who Dana White was like, man, this guy is such a great athlete. We got to sign him. So, we're really going to test them out here. Now, the thing I like some stuff that both guys do, but Romeus for me is a classic example of a guy who he fights his competition at all times, whether it be in the regional or the contender fights, right? He goes to fight Ramon. He's in the stand-up with him, exchanging, gets knocked out. He fights with Gaston Bolaños. The fight's going good with him. It's going all right. But anytime he's building momentum with that grappling and stuff like that, he just was not able to finish anything. So he's going to be, I think, have a little bit more energy and maybe power on his punches early. But Holy kind of keeps a steady pace. He doesn't hit hard. He kind of fights a little. He's got a little women's MMA to him. But you're pretty much gonna get with the guy. I can see some fights where Romeus gets kind of like a body triangle, the back holds on to a body triangle. Maybe gets a submission. I think his submission line is plus 550, plus 600, something like that. Or maybe bank some rounds with that. But I just think that more likely they kind of get into numerous scrambles and Holy just starts winning them the later the fight goes. But this is definitely a gamble. I wouldn't want to lay a lot of juice on Holy. But I know a lot of guys that are on that I agree with, that agree with me. But I like the goes the distance. I think that Holy has a decent chin, doesn't have power, and I think grappling-wise, they might cancel out. So I'll take the goes the distance. It's like minus 146, 150, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can't get to a money line side, but I do think this fight is going to go long. So, yeah, minus 150 for GTD, I think is pretty solid. I don't see much finish upside for either guy. I mean, I guess Cortavius could potentially. I don't know. I don't even know, man.
You could get tired and get finished late. Yeah, either of them gassing out and getting giving up the back and getting finished.
It's definitely not like a lock where it's it's minus 200 GTD. You don't have to worry about a finish at all. It's going to be a crazy fight. That's the thing, but I don't know. They're both pretty mid, but they're both well-rounded. Fairly well-rounded. So I don't really see one of them.
That's the other thing. Romeus, for guys that like Holy, Romeus, he'll play guard and stuff. So if he's on the receive or the short end on some wrestling exchanges, sometimes he might take guard position, or you just know that Holy will probably get some top time here.
Yeah, dude. So I understand. If you wrote, a lot of people are saying Romeus was a favorite in his last fight. Now, the market switched up on him, but now we have 15 more minutes of data to go off of. So obviously there's going to be some changes because a lot of his fights finished early on the regional scene. So we didn't have a ton to go off of. So, obviously there is going to be changes after crucial data is into the market now. And I could see this fight playing out. I don't know if you guys watched his fight on the regional scene against Jornal Lugo. Lugo is a Bellator guy he's okay. He's like not that great. Like
He's Dominican.
he can hold his own against lower level guys, but if he gets a step up in competition, he always loses. And it was a super close fight, and Romeus gives up. The issue with him is he gives up positions too easily, and he can't hold a body triangling because his legs are so short. And Ho Lee has incredible cardio, really scrambly. So I could see him wearing Romeus down, tiring him out, and him being the one who's landing on top and ending the rounds on top. So I think Lee is going to win by decision.
I think if a finish comes, I think it would be Lee late, like round 3, maybe like an RNC, something sloppy like
Lee 3 and RNC. My boy spitting bars.
Could be. Well, I used to freestyle at the parties back in the day. Drink a McKee of Captain Morgan spiced rum, and we used to hit the cipher. But yeah, I do think that's like a logical finish to me. But yeah, this is going to be a slot fest.
They're actually both pretty clean.
No, like I think this gets extended and then it gets sloppy. I think they're going to be in some like sloppy grappling exchanges, and that's where I think the sub could happen late. But for me, I don't love anything. Maybe the sprinkle on that sub for the culture, but yeah, I'm fine with nothing else.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I think Ho Lee live is going to be a good angle to go. If he loses round 1, fire up plus 200, plus 250. That's going to be gold.
We had a request in the chat for Victor Henry, Pedro Falcao. Anyone have any strong takes there?
Also, Jeremiah, this isn't our last show. We only have one more show. Our last one is going to be for UFC 314. So hopefully everyone can show out for that one, and we can end on a banger. Victor Henry versus Falcao. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. Ozzy and I talked about this earlier in the week, and I think we're both on the GTD side for this one. We don't really want to get involved from a money line perspective. I could see why Henry is the favorite. He's a lot cleaner. His striking is way better. His striking defense a lot better. He's got good output, and he's really well rounded. But he's getting too up there in age to be laying the juice on him like that. He's fucking 37 now at bantamweight, and Falcao is really unrefined. He's like one of those guys who's just gonna keep coming forward. So he's not gonna give Henry a super easy fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Falcao can grind him out, but honestly, I see a 29-28. But I do end up leaning with Henry getting the nod just by being the cleaner and more well-rounded fighter. He's a solid fighter. I mean, he was looking decent against Jourdain before he got caught in that. So, yeah, I don't want to pick a side. I like the GTD on this one. Chad, what do you like here?
I was tempted to fade Henry a little bit. I think we all were on some sort of Henry 2-3 KO 2-3. Against what's his name?
Hani Aya?
Yeah. Excuse me.
And
I mean, he did it, but Lord, man, you had like a corpse in front of you for rounds, and
yeah,
I don't know. I think Henry's obviously the best parts of his career are over, and he's seeing some regression. And I don't think that he has a style that lends itself well to that sort of regression. So yeah, I don't know. I was tempted, but I've yet to do anything. I think this goes to a decision, but yeah, it's not one that I really want to plant the flag. Gun to the head, I would fade Henry, but he's not bad. He's just getting older and losing a little bit of that. So yeah, it's another one. I hate to say that I don't have a bet.
Yeah, this goes the distance to semi parlays, and this is the thing that the reason I like it more too is because Falcao against Hugo, he spammed takedowns. All he was doing was attempting takedowns, killing clock, cardio held up there. He was on short notice and he got tired, but I just don't think that Victor Henry is gonna like pace him and like tire him out. I can see this fight honestly in Perry is looking similar to that a Sun-style fight. And yeah, just I don't think, and Victor Henry's got no power, dude. So this fight 100%. It should be like minus like 350 to go the distance.
Yeah, I'll side with Chad here. I think I'm even more tempted to play the underdog here in Falco. Plus 180 is just a big number, man. And you guys talked about like the age. I think, you know, even his last fight, like that was surprising to me. Like getting submitted there too. I think there's more potential for a drop off now, turning 38 years old in May. So right, literally 1 month away, he'll be 38. And Falco's not bad, man. He's well rounded. He's got power. He can have big moments. Sure, he's not going to keep up with the volume, but plus 180, I feel like he's live here. So I'll side on the other side. I'm not 100% sure if I'll get to a bet, but I'm definitely leaning that way with Falco. But I do agree that it does go 15
minutes. Dude, Jeremy Kennedy's cooking Kabulaev on PFL. This is fucking cinema.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Dixon. He mentioned Loma Luke Boonmay against Estela Nunez. I can't remember. Did anyone have a play on that or no?
I took some sub 2-3 on Loma.
Okay.
She's been grappling a little more. We saw in the Elise Reed fight, she went for 2 takedowns and she was able to get the submission really early on Elise Reed in round 2. It looked like she is improving her knowledge and ability to grapple. And Estela Nunez, like, she is good for round 1. I was honestly tempted on her because it's a massive number. But the thing is, she just doesn't. You can't have shitty cardio and shitty durability at 115. You just can't have it. Like, how are you gonna fucking win fights like that? So, yeah, she's coming back off a long injury layoff. She's 6-5. She got submitted by Carnelosi. Uriagui could have submitted her too if she wanted, but she just pounded her out. So I know Loma is not a good finisher whatsoever, but I do like that for the submission angle because she doesn't have a ton of power at all. So I could see her just taking the path of least resistance and wearing her down and getting a late submission. So I like taking some stabs on Loma sub 2-3. Chad, are you joining me, bro?
Yeah, I can't resist one like that. You outline the reasons why, and you got to target these ones where people seem to be improving. You know that she's probably going to get in some dominant grappling positions. So, well, worst case, you know, we have a big number. We got to tease. We got to say we had value, and you know, you call it a day. And best case, you were popping champagne. So yeah, I agree. That's all I played on the fight, though. I don't have any money line or anything, but I took some sub 2-3 as well.
So what's like Loma's takedown props gonna be?
It should be 1.5.
Because they're gonna be in that Muay Thai clinch the whole time, and Just like Christian
Used to the
Rodriguez was hitting on McKee, Costa. Those things are takedowns if you just hit a little foot sweep and then they get back up, or if you cover them and then they get back up. So
yeah, I'd imagine 1.5 minus 150 minus 160 to the over.
Oh damn.
Yeah, she hit 4 against Denise Gomes.
Yeah, she'd be doing it.
Yeah, she hit 4 against Gomes, 2 against Reed in a fight that lasted 6 minutes, and 1 against Brazil.
Yeah, she likes those like judo trips.
Yeah, she hit 4 against Sam Hughes too. Yeah, I mean the over 1.5 is pretty easy.
Let's talk. Nobody requested it. We still have the co-main event and the main, but let's actually talk Daniel Fronza, Reese McKee. I don't think anyone requested it, but I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I'm not a fan of Daniel Fronza. He fought on Contender Series. He fought that fraud. I forget his name. Vadim Kuchinski.
Oh, Vadim, yeah, like the Ukrainian guy.
Yeah. But Fronza, I mean, he just doesn't impress me. Even with that win there. Fight before that, he was dropped. Like, he's one-dimensional striker, does have some power, very reckless, hittable on the feet. I don't know. I kind of like the underdog in Reese McKee here, who's got more UFC experience, very long, good striker. Don't fully trust the durability, but I mean, is it worse than Fronza? I don't know. I don't know. I can kind of see Reese McKee really competing here. And yeah, I feel like, you know, the price isn't too bad on him. And I'm just not a believer in Fronza, especially in his debut.
Ozzy, why don't you go?
Yeah, man, you know, I was thinking about this fight, and I understand I've liked Reese McKee. I've kind of like backed him a few times, or, you know, been a part of some line movements and stuff like that. But I'm thinking of with him is that he's taken a lot of damage in these UFC fights that he's had. Even though he hasn't been finished, you know, he's just so easily hit. He doesn't really, his speed isn't there. If he can't get on the front foot against you and stay there, I feel like it's tough for him to land with significant power. And then his grappling, I mean, his wrestling, he just got no hips, no glutes. So you know, Fronza, it just doesn't make sense, honestly. Like, it doesn't. I've bet him his last 3 fights as an underdog. He's a favorite now. But dude, look at Reese McKee. All of the opponents that Reese McKee's had, or both of them, you know, Lusa and Chitty, and now Fronza, they're all minus 150 against them. All of them. They're like, you know, they keep putting them there. And I just think that this isn't gonna be the guy that hits him hard enough to put him down. Like, it's like a fallacy. Like, we saw him survive against Chitty and Lusa, and now we think he's really durable. But maybe Chitty just doesn't, like, Chitty need what's his name in the face, but I don't know. I don't think this guy could. He cuts too much weight. He's a skeleton, dude. Like, I'll take Fronza. Just based on their bodies, right, Shad? Come on, you see that there's a lack of testosterone in Reese McKee.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of when the great Alexander Hernandez cut down, and you know, he hit the press conference and said, "Listen, my dick doesn't
balls
work."
are shriveled up, right?
He said, "My penis doesn't work" at the press conference. How could you can't say that before a fight? That's crazy. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, and this is another one where I'm tempted by the side, right? Like, I haven't committed yet, but I agree with you, and that's. I just don't know if I get there, but to me, I'm not high on Reese at all. I think he stinks.
He probably does.
Real ones remember Chitty decision against Reese. You know, it was pretty nice, but yeah, I don't know. I do think he could die. I don't buy these. He's the most durable guy ever. Like, yeah, okay. People get rocked, you get TKO'd. I don't know, man.
Dude, to be honest, Fronza is killing these dudes. You know, he's hitting them and they're not waking up.
Yeah, I mean, he cracks. Yeah, I might have to play some Fronza KO, man. I've been debating it. It's nice to hear someone else, be on board.
I think people are gonna keep steaming Reese. They're gonna keep Reese every fight, dude. People bet on him every fight, and I did it too against Rusa. I was like, I got like a big number, and it closed like plus like 110. I got like plus like 155, I think, or something close to that. Same thing against Shitty. Even against
people love the idea. They love the idea of a durable zombie that keeps coming, but like the dude sucks. Like he's not a good fighter.
He should be in a slap fight.
I like the over 2.5. I played the over 2.5 at plus money, and the reason why, you guys are gonna be like, oh, McKee might get knocked out. I mean, yeah, he could get knocked out, but historically, he is super durable. He can take an ass whooping. And Fronza has been, he's gotten most of his finishes aside for the Jalen Fuller one. The last fight in LFA, we all bet him on that one. He got the finish with like 1 second left in the round against a guy who's predominantly just a grappler, doesn't have any striking at all. So, I think his power might be getting a little overrated. And then on Contender Series, we bet him again. And the guy he was fighting was a complete gas bag. And the guy fucking gassed out and he finished him. But here, the thing about Fronza that you guys might not be taking into account, or maybe you are, I kind of zoned out for a second because I was sweating the Kabulaev by submission. But, dude, Fronza is really bad in the clinch. And McKee always clinches. And I think if he gets hurt, I think he can just clinch him against the fence. And I think you guys might be surprised at how bad and how little he knows what to do to separate himself and get outside of it. So I think it's going to go over. I think McKee is going to try to grapple, but I like Fronza's takedown defense. I think it's pretty solid. And yeah, I don't think McKee is going to finish Fronza. He doesn't have much power. He's more of a volume attritional guy. So I like the fight to go over, but I like Fronza to win by decision.
All right, let's move along to the co-main event. Joe Anderson, Brito, Pat Sabatini. Really fun matchup. I feel like it's somewhat of a binary matchup. What do you guys think about this one?
Chad, why don't you start us off?
Sure, not a problem. You know what I'm going to say. It's Project Pat. We're laying it down. Either we look like geniuses, or he gets KO. One, and we just say win condition, first minute chin. There's every excuse in the book for when he loses. But like I know we spoke about this briefly beforehand. I truly think that if Sabatini just full sprints at him, gets into the clinch, gives him his neck, says, jump Gilly on me. Brito will jump Gilly, and then he'll get mauled. And I think that, like, one of you who's got Instagram, please get in Pat's DMs and let him know my game plan. Brito cannot help himself. He will jump Gilly. Just show him the neck a little bit. Pat's not getting subbed by a fucking guillotine by this gorilla. Like, it's not happening. So give him the neck, sprint into the clinch, do what you got to do, get in there. Don't stay at range at all, because that's where we're all going to be fucking terrified. But sprint in, give him a little tease with the neck, pause, and let him jump Gilly. And that's it. Then he's on bottom for the round. He's not getting up from Pat. Pat is, I mean, Ozzy will chime in better than me, but I think Pat is arguably the best BJJ grappler in the UFC right now. What he does is very impressive. I'm a big Pat guy. He's chinny. It's terrifying when you bet on him, but if you enter his world of grappling, you're in trouble. And Brito, if he doesn't instantly kill him, is going to enter that world. So It's Pat. I think he can sub him, obviously. Yeah, I played some Pat money line, and we're fucking riding with Pat. I hope it's a nice circle jerk.
Absolutely easy bet. Smack plus 200. I thought the line movement was going to get this down plus like maybe 145, 155 on Pat, and then to come back on Brito. Think about this, man. Pat is 3-0 as an underdog in the UFC. And every time I'm kind of like bewildered why he's the underdog, because even though you could say his chin is not good, you know, it's from taking kind of like one-off shots. Like I've never really seen him in like a back and forth fight, like a punch kind of like rock him, and that you're like disappointed to see. Sometimes it's just one of these big strikes early. But over the course of a fight, honestly, like Brito, man, I mean, like the honest truth is Brito is a little bit overhyped. You know, a few of his fights, like the Brito fight or the Gomes fight, for example, he was bad juice. He could not implement his game plan. He trades positions with William Gomes. It's not like his striking is tremendous. You know, that's what I was talking with Pepe about it. The Jack Shore fight, it's not like he performed amazingly. Like if they ran that fight back, yeah, I mean, I obviously wouldn't like Jack Shore. He retired off of that for God's sakes. But you know, Pat is a better version, way better version of Jack Shore, more talented, you know, physically. And man, this guy has been grappling all his life. Like he wrestled D1 in college. Before that, he was on the jiu-jitsu scene, and he's won, you know, tons of fights, and you know, he's one of the best grapplers in the Northeast, similar to Sean Brady. So I just think that he's gonna be able to be smart in there. His striking isn't terrible. He's got decent kicks. He should be able to kick with Brito to not get like annihilated with the calf kicks and stuff like that. And you're giving us a plus 200 number is just crazy. So, you know, that's the thing with Brito. Like, if you're pricing Brito here, like, remember, Diego Lopez was pick 'em against Pat. And like I said, the guy's 3-0 as an underdog. So we have so much margin of error here with this line that you got to take it. So let's go.
John, what did you do this one yet?
No, I just wanted to see if you were on the Sabatini train first, though.
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit too. I mean, part of me is like the meme that I love to share where it's like Brito, Fisco, Burr, and then you have Chad and Ozzy on the top saying Pat's the best grappler in the UFC, and then the other dude with the hood is saying Brito, Fisco, Burr. Because I do think he could knock him out for sure, but I also acknowledge like there is a case to be made for the underdog in the plus 200 range where like if he does get the fight to the mat, like Chad was saying, it might just take Brito pulling Gilly. I think Pat could finish down there. If he doesn't finish, he's a very good control grappler as well. So like you have to think about things like that when you see things like Bill Algeo getting some takedowns and control time against Brito back in the day. William Gomes, you know, kind of roughing him up in some of the wrestling exchanges. So like I get the case. It's just I'm just a little more nervous than you guys that he could get knocked out. So truthfully, I am going back and forth.
Yeah.
People love Brito, dude, but they love him because he cashed those tickets against Feely and freaking Jonathan Pierce when he was an underdog. He is not a guy that you bet as a favorite.
Yeah, he's an ape. And
dude, the last time I bet fucking Pat Sabatini money line.
Damon Jackson was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it was Diego Lopez. And I maxed bet Sabatini. He's such a good wrestler and grappler. He easily gets shucked off like he was a fucking bantamweight girl.
A child.
Dude, that was fucking. What are you doing? How are you getting fucking thrown by Diego Lopez like you're a fucking little girl? And then you
first minute grappling.
You take one punch and then no, I'm done. His head's fucking bouncing off the canvas. All my money's gone. It's gone. Diego Lopez.
Yeah, but you got it back again. You got it back last fight.
No,
but Brito's not even a good striker. Like, who would you favor? You wouldn't really favor Brito in a kickboxing fight against that many featherweights.
Well, no, I wouldn't. But his durability and
he's never even gotten hit. I don't know how durable he is. I've never seen him in a war. Like, we gotta stop acting like Brito is freaking some accomplished BMX.
He's got.
Okay, and here's another thing. So because I want to bet Sabatini, but then I go back and I watch the TJ Laramie fight, and freaking Laramie.
Stop bringing up. No, that's it. That doesn't matter. Just take freaking past Sabatini, bro. TJ Laramie is Canadian and 5'2". He's a tough guy to grapple.
Dude, Laramie was getting on top of him, scrambling with him.
I just want a cage time, bro.
Well, listen, I don't think Sabatini is finishing Brito. I'll say that. He got his submission against Almeida and JSP. I don't think he's going to – I think if he gets on top, he's going to ride out top time, maybe throw in a triangle, threaten chokes. But I don't see him finishing Brito, honestly. So I would rather take the over than Sabatini.
What's the over at?
So over 1.5 is minus 135, but GTD is around 2-1.
Yeah, 210. Yeah, that's actually interesting. That's an interesting angle to take.
I don't know, man, because like you just talked about how Sabatini's head was bouncing off the mat and all this stuff, and then you're gonna be all clenched up on the couch, sweating it over. I can't. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, you'll be sweating the over when Sabatini's putting him in a fucking blender on the ground.
The thing is,
you gotta know that Brito as a finisher is diminished here because he can't rock Pat and finish him with a guillotine. It's not possible.
You don't think?
I pray to God he rocks him and jumps guillotine, bro. I'm just
saying he's not gonna finish it on. He's not gonna finish the jump guillotine on Pat. It's impossible.
0% chance.
0% chance.
Pat has to be unconscious on his feet.
You got to give me slack on that. If he's knocked out before Brito clenches, no.
You said 0% chance that he can finish with a guillotine.
He knocks him out against the fence and then just grabs the guillotine for no reason.
Yeah. Brito's the type of dude to do that too.
He would, for sure.
Imagine that. Someone should do that. Imagine like you knock out someone and then you, as he's going down, like you grab it, like in the clinch, you knee him and something like that. And as he goes down, you're like, fuck it, you just pull him into an armbar. You're like, no, I won't.
Then you're going down by like James Krause. They're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? This guy bet sub. The guy's falling down, knocked out, and you jump gilly on him. You're like, he's out. Call it, ref. That'd actually be pretty smart.
Hey, just need
all right, let's move on to the main event. We have Lerone Murphy, big favorite against Josh Emmett, who's a man. He's 40. But this is another one like Pepe talked about in the beginning of the show, where it's like you have the aging veteran and then the younger fighter who's kind of coming into his own, but he's getting so much respect. So the question is it too much respect? Are we taking some shots on the underdog here? Is the power the last thing to go on the Emmett side?
Dude, I hate Leon Murphy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat
Leon Murphy.
Leron. I'm not gonna sugarcoat.
He hates Leon too.
Yeah, Leon's terrible. Leon guy. I mean, honestly, they fight similar, but
yeah, they do.
I think it's an interesting fight matchup for Josh Emmett. I don't know why. Honestly, he's been away for so long, but look at his crew, dude. Both Uriah Faber and Chad Mendes are doing that GFL thing. They're getting MMA fights. They got the Fountain of Youth pumping up there in Sacramento. So Josh Emmett, he looks good, right? I saw his those Getty pictures or whatever it is that they take. And Leon Murphy, his biggest thing is, dude, that his defense is his offense usually. Like he spams, strikes sometimes or often. His jab is decent, but other than that, man, he just is the most mid. Like if this guy had a belt, earns a belt, I'm gonna be I'm gonna stop watching MMA possibly. Maybe stop watching this particular weight class because I just can't have it. Like, I just don't think I don't think that he's gonna be able to utilize his wrestling or kill clock time and stuff like that in this fight. And man, I just see so many opportunities for Emmett to chin him. You know, I thought an interesting thing that I was watching. I think when the Edson Barbosa fight, they're like, this guy Leron covers so much distance because he extends on his punches. He throws them out so far. But man, when you throw them out, it's a long way for that thing to come back to your face to block your chin. And I just feel at some point, Josh Emmett, he's durable. He's going to be there for – Leron's only going to win by – I mean, he could, I guess, finish, but most likely decision. And I just feel that Emmett's going to hurt him at some point. So I honestly like the KO line a little bit more in the 500 range just because, you know, I saw some people talking about the no scorecards, bets. But no scorecard bets like that one, I think it's like plus like 170. And it just doesn't do it for me to know that if, you know, Josh knocks him out, that's how I'm going to win. And I only get paid for that. And you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just go for the shot of Josh hurts him, follows up, you know, and knocks out this British man in the Apex.
It's funny you mention that, Ozzy, because you're making me think of the Bryce Mitchell fight where he was, I forget the money line. Money line was crazy. KO was crazy. And no scorecards was like, whatever, you know? It was like,
it's just like you just get a refund for that. No, I'm good.
Nah, let me feel something. If he's going to, Emmett will swing. Like, people will bring up the Yair fight. Yair ate some bombs. I mean, he has a crazy chin, obviously. And he was crippling the body. I do like the angle you said about him being on all the gas right now because I think that's true. Those guys are all fighting again. Those guys have been they figured out supplements there a long time ago. Now they got to get the old guys cooking for these giant contracts in the GFL. I think Emmett's going to be sufficiently gassed up, and yeah, it only takes one from him. This guy.
Bro, he's so legit, dude. He's fought so many people in the UFC, bro. He is legit as hell.
And you got a guy that's going to try to beat him by decision. Like, that's it, you know? So
and Josh Emmett's 10-2 in decisions, and I mean, bro, that 5-rounder against Edson, that didn't do nothing for me, honestly, dude. So
Edson is, I mean, I love Edson. He's on the end of washed, and I know he had like a heroic performance against what's his name, Sadiq, right beforehand. But like, dude, Edson is semi-done. He's been semi-done. Like,
how are you minus 160 against Edson and minus 140 against Kulabau, and then you're minus like 320 against Emmett with 2 extra rounds? It doesn't make sense.
I'm going to donate on Emmett and Emmett KO. I'll say it now. It is what it is.
Dude, Leroy's going to be there to be hit. So
yes. Bro. Oh, give
me
also
not the most durable guy. He's been dropped twice in the UFC against strikers much worse with much less power than Josh Emmett. I think there's a path for him to land takedowns. I think, you know, I could see him getting hurt on the feet and then going to the wrestling. But yeah, so I mean, I get why Murphy's the favorite, but to be honest, I wouldn't put him past minus 200.
Josh Emmett, another guy has been good as an underdog, dude. He's cashed a bunch of times as a dog, dude.
Do we think he's on steroids?
Absolutely.
Who?
Probably.
Josh Emmett.
They're all on steroids, man.
Yeah, Diaz told us.
But it's true. I remember I had an argument a long time ago on Spaces with some guy about that. And, bro, they're all on steroids. Like, if you're a professional athlete in any capacity and you're not on steroids, you're an idiot. You know? So they all maybe 0.01%.
Who were you arguing with, Marcus Erickson?
No, I think I actually remember that. I want to say I was in that Spaces. But anyway.
When I argued the steroids thing?
Yeah, I think I was there for that conversation.
Someone was saying it was like 20%. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, do you see the physique? Half the guys in the UFC, especially at the lower weight classes, they're like very muscular, and they're in a career and a sport that doesn't require that. You know, they're
No, I know what you mean, because like a lot of people ask me, like, are you all natural or are you on steroids? And
Chad gets
I get asked
accused.
that.
Chad gets
Pepe, what-
accused because his shoulders are capped.
Pepe, what's your take on the main event here? Is it Josh Emmett?
Yeah, it's definitely a dogger pass. I mean, fucking obviously Lerone, all the, you know, he's got the age and the statistics on his side, but like Ozzy was saying, I wasn't that impressed with the Barbosa fight. Like going back and taping it, I was like expecting a much better performance, but dude, he really doesn't have that much power, and his finishing instincts are terrible. Like Barbosa was really gassed out by like mid-round 3. Like, and there was no reason why Murphy dragged him. And like by round 5, it was like a competitive round 5. Like, what is going on here? And then I watched the Topuria fight because so my first thought was like, all right, like I'm gonna play fucking Murphy KO because Emmett is coming off a brutal beating against Topuria, and he's 40 years old. You know, let's get in front of this. And then I went back and rewatched it, and I was like, wow, like Murphy is really not that good whatsoever. Like he hasn't. When's the last time he hurt someone? I mean, like he hurt Barbosa a little bit, but like, dude, like he should have finished. Like any top 10 guy would have finished Barbosa if they were in the same situation as Murphy, where Barbosa is cooked at round 3 like that. Like Barbosa was ready for the door and he couldn't even finish him. And I'm looking back at this Topuria fight and fucking dude, Emmett took a fucking beating, but he was there. He was there in round 5. He was swinging hammers late in the fight, dude. He still had heart. So yeah, I agree. It's definitely Emmett or pass. I'll probably have something on him by fight day.
Emmett is 6-3 as the underdog. I think you're up like if you just bet him every fight, and it's big plus money on a bunch. He's been plus 200 a bunch of times.
And so I remember I bet against him in the Yair fight, but he was injured for that fight.
Yeah. We were big on Yair.
And Lerone is British.
It was still a sweat though. That Yair fight, like he in round 1, dude. Like, because I remember that the rumor that he was coming in injured, and he had broken ribs or something, or ribs. That's what it was. But it was still like a big sweat. Like in round 1, I was like, did we just get fleeced?
But that was weird. Like the way he put himself in that triangle was, I always thought that was kind of suspect.
Yeah, it was.
Well, Yair was also, assuming that was true, the rib thing. Yair clearly knew about it because he was blasting that blood. You know. Yeah, so you get to a certain point, you're like, all right, dude, like sub me. I'm done. I'm not a quitter.
Speaking of Yair, we get the return of Yair next week for UFC 314. Guys, thanks for coming out. Make sure to tell all your friends. We have a big fight week next week. We're gonna go all out. Super exciting fights. I'm really excited to break down the main event with Volkanovski and Lopez. The Yair versus Pitbull is a super intriguing fight. There's going to be a profitable way to attack these fights. So yeah, thanks for coming out.
Nikita Krylov next week.
Oh yeah, Krylov versus Reyes.
My boy,
it's bangers after bangers next week.
It's the best card.
Chase Hooper, dude, future champ. Chase Hooper.
Yeah.
Taking on.
We might have to give Evan a call for a guest appearance to bring us home.
I actually think that's a great idea to close it out.
We might have to. I mean, Chase Hooper, Diego Lopez. It all.
Yeah.
Oh, you might have to do another tattoo bet on both those fights.
Hold on, let me pull this. Yeah, dude, Michael Chandler versus Patty.
Oh man, we didn't even.
Dude, this card is fucking crazy. In Miami too.
Dude, it's my card of the year. I truly believe that.
Juicy J,
bro.
Juicy J versus Elkins.
Verna versus Jan.
Yeah, Cedricus Dumas versus Lord Mikal. It's a fucking banger, bro.
Yep. But that's going to do it, boys. Appreciate you joining, and we will see you guys next week. Do not miss it, and best of luck on Saturday.
Garule sub 3. Heard it here first.